Okay. I need your support, please. Thank you. Okay, as mentioned earlier, 4 years ago, I was a professional photographer. Weddings, girls. With the introduction of Fuji Instax to the market, this camera is like a Polaroid. You can see in the screen. The popularity of instant prints in photo increased. For this reason, in summer of 2014, my business idea was born. At the City Day celebration of my native small city named Dubna, my wife and another girl were testing my business idea. They just took pictures of people and they bought the resulting photos. Selling instant snapshots seemed then like a gold mine. The next slide, please. Thank you. When I told my friend about my idea, he said, "Vova, open Excel," and we began to calculate the business plan. After spending several evenings and nights with a little bit of the alcohol and weed maybe, in a work company, the business plan was drawn up and seemed to be realizable. 1 year before it, I spent my honeymoon trip in Goa with my wife. And then there were a lot of tourists. If in a small city people were ready to pay for instant photos, then somewhere abroad tourists wouldn't refuse such a service. Of course, in addition to repeat the party, we wanted to make money. There is no doubt we are flying to the business in Goa. So what do we need? Money. And we didn't have them at the time. The prospect of spending the winter in the warmth warmed us a lot. We started saving money from photo shoots. Some part, namely the larger one, had to be borrowed from the friend. The next slide, please. I ordered cartridges for Instax on AliExpress. The paranoia part 0 covered me on these departures. What if they don't arrive? What if it came broken? But the stuff came in good quality, on time and in full, In addition to a huge heap of cartridges whose weight was over 40 kilograms, we took cameras and laptops to be sure that if the business doesn't work out, we can do our usual shooting. It was a plan B. The next slide, please. Paranoia part 1. There was a question of how to pack and deliver it all. I called airports and asked if the luggage scanner would ruin my cartridges. How to declare such a large batch of cartridges. Also the question safety of storing equipment. I bought the alarm lock, you can see the screen. And my friend sewed an exclusive cover for luggage in which it looked like an armchair. Unfortunately, I haven't this photo today, but it looks funny, believe me. By the way, we never used all of this. We couldn't take all stuff by ourselves, and third part of the entire staff helped bring my friends. They were going on a trip around India and flew out of Russia a couple of days earlier than us. Next slide. Thank you. When we arrived in Goa, we noticed that there were a few Russian tourists. Due to sanctions due to the annexation of Crimea, the ruble exchange rate was going down. For some reason, it didn't bother me at that time. I don't know why. By the way, there were no tourists in general. The season was just beginning. We found rare tourists on the beaches and offered take to photo for memory and get an exclusive instant print photo from the holiday, my friend. A week later, we realized that we had not sold enough photo to follow the business plan. Only Indians who wanted to take a photo with my wife agreed to pay. They even offered me a bottle of beer for permission to kiss her. I remember all this with a smile, but then the adrenaline hit the blood very much. We was a principled pair and refused the kissing business at the beginning. The next slide, please. There was an idea to sell ready-made photographs. You know, sunsets, sunrises, random Indians, cows, very beautiful, colorful trucks. And we tried to sell in photos to random people. We also prepared a board with the photos and agreed to sell in the store we lived above. But I didn't sell it by myself. I thought the board had to sell it by itself. Sold at the night market with a local Hindu, Sajjad Hussain, you can see him on the screen, who undertook to help us with our business for free, only for party. Baba Bulinat, who lived under a famous banyan tree in Arambol, allowed us to do business in this sacred place and didn't charge for it. All of this brought small sales. I despaired. And we keep going to the next slide. Thank you. In less than a month after our arrival in Goa, I decided, plan B, it's your time. We already had several photo sessions in Goa and made a portfolio out of them. I started advertising in internet, redesigning the site to Goa, set up advertising in social media like Vkontakte, Facebook, Instagram, etc. Contact local wedding agencies for cooperation. Local Indian boys hung our advertisement everywhere, on the poles, on the cafes. Orders began to come, which allowed to pay for our life in Goa in the usual way for us. Of course, we sold instant photo during the photo sessions, but it was a drop in the ocean that was we planned. Next slide. Yes, and 3 months after the start, standing on this balcony, I decided we are going home. The main business plan failed. It was hard to live with the paranoia for equipment, the paranoia for remaining cartridges that needing to implement it somehow, for money that needs to be returned soon. There was enough money, but it wasn't profit. And it seems we are tired. We come back to Russia with the remaining cartridges. It wasn't easy to sell it, even at the purchase price. The debt under the agreements with the investor was returned in full. So we can go. What is my profession Fuckup in this project? I propose to return to the beginning of this presentation. I remind you that it began with the words "my wife" and another girl were testing my business idea. Why didn't I try it myself? Well, in Dubna, I don't know. Why thought that the small city like Dubna is equal Goa state in India? Also, almost from the beginning, just 1 month later, I took on plan B without having full working on plan A. Plan A, sorry. I was ready to make business only in the way that I imagined to myself, without changing anything in scheme. I photographed not that, sold photos not so, and not there. I did what I was too used to do. I was afraid of failure before it came. It's my paranoia, yes. I wasted my resources at the preparation stage. Eventually, we wanted to be a hippie and to do business at the same time. Dissonance, isn't it? Next slide, please. What could I do? For example, trying to find the white-skinned girl who would agree to be photographed with Indians and to do what the locals really wanted. To generate different implementations of the main business idea, test it, analyze, fix it, and try again and again. We can choose another place to do the business with the photo. Go audience is a special audience, you know, maybe yoga, weed, LSD, the not ordinary people. Do not take a filming equipment to have a plan B, to think only about the main business idea. I think that it's main. Thank you, that's all.